This is Radio Sabah calling from J7, North Borneo.
As Kadazan, I'm proud to be part of the largest ethnic indigenous group in Sabah, Malaysia or Borneo. It is my moral obligation to share with you the history and the origin and the legacy of our people so that our new generation can understand that our identity is known by God, given by God. We thank God for this time and season. Hear our story.
ATAGAK NOPO OH KOINTUTUNAN ATAGAK NOPO. ATAGAK NOPO OH BOOS o Kadazan nga ATAGAK no gi o KOINTUTUNAN toko sa bagi no bangsa o Kadazan. Greetings to you, Gundohing, my Kadazan kin, Tobinay. Thank you so much for sharing with me these nostalgic, and I should call it historical photos. I have seen it being shared for quite some time at some of the social media. But thank you once again for sharing these photos to me. When I look at these photos, it is actually a photos of the 8 native chief or ketua anak negeri, which consists of ketua kampung, or they call at that time orang tua, you know, the elders. And somebody wrote up there that this location is in Penampang district and was spot mid-1957. So this photo was taken in 1957 at the sport field of school, St.Michael School of Penampang, which still exists today. Behind these 8 ketua anak negeri is a field, and there is a school, an old school, which I believe this is actually one of the building of St. Michael that provide class, primary as well as form. I remember this building, putting myself into these historical photos because I studied in St.Michael School Penampang from 1977 to 1981. I mean, 5 years I studied, Form 1, Form 2. When I was in Form 1 and Form 2, I was in that building. Our classroom was in that building behind this. So 1957 is way behind the years. I went there to study in 1977 after I completed my primary school in St. Aloysius Limbanak of Penampang. So I was an art student, Form 1, Form 2, and then Form 3, art stream, and then Form 4 is the new building. I was a science student, and Form 5, I was a science student. So it's very touching history. I was part of that history. Okay, some of the significant important information. If you see the ketua anak negeri or orang tua, number 7 is orang tua Bongkos Malakun. He's young and he's actually the father of Datuk Seri Panglima Clarence Bongkos Malakun, married to, if I'm not mistaken, sorry if I got my information wrong, but Mamai Bongkos Malakun was married to one of the Ligunjang siblings. And Ligunjang is a Wonglung siblings, our great-grandfather, clans. So, means to say, Mamai Bongkos Malakun was married to one of the granddaughters of Wonglung, which is my Aki. I'm from Wonglung, from the father's side. So I have Chinese blood a little bit, Sino Kadazan, but my mother is a Tanga. So when I was studying in St. Aloysius Limbanak Primary School, I've met him. He has a talk shop by the road. So from Kampung Pinapa, we used to walk on foot and we have to pass by his shop. That's the time that I met him and the wife, they're selling, they have a talk shop. We are just teenage boys from Kampung Pinapa. So whenever we have some little bit of money, and it's very cheap at the time, I remember I used to drop by at Mamai Oti Bongkos Malakun talk shop to buy some lemonades. At that time, bottle orange is only about 50 cents. So I used to meet up with him whenever I go back home to Kampung Pinapa on foot, coming back, because at that time he has a talk shop by the roadside, and Mamai Ligunjang also has a talk shop on the other side, by the edge of the entrance of the Jalan Mang road going to the school. So every day I have to pass by the talk shop of orang tua Bongkos Malakun and also Mamai Ligunjang. So that's why I met him. I still remember until now, even though now it's 2022, I can still remember him, his face, talk with him whenever we children go and buy or going back home, we drop by, we buy sweets and so on. So that's my memory of the number 7, Oti Bongkos Malakun, who is the father of Datuk Seri Panglima Clarence Bongkos Melaku, dan Gundahing Paul Bongkos. Number 4, that is Ketua Anak Negeri Tan Peng Heng. It looked like Chinese, but from my research, Tan Peng Heng is actually a Sino-Kadazan. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, his father is a Chinese, but the mother is a Tanga Kadazan. So, Mr. Tan, Gundahing Tan Peng Heng, is Sino-Kadazan, and his Christian name is Fidelis. Okay, that's number 4, Fidelis Tan Peng Hing. Okay, Tan Peng Hing or Tan Peng Heng. This is the history of number 4, Ketua Anak Negeri Fidelis Tan Peng Hing. He is actually one of the committee member of the Society of Kadazan. Okay, the first Society of Kadazan, which was registered on the 24th of August 1953. This is very interesting, And then it have a heavy Chinese influence, and the first chairman of the Society of Kadazan, this is actually a Kadazan society. The first chairman is actually Mr. Lim Kim Cheong. Okay, and the secretary was Mr. Richard Yap. They are Sino-Kadazan. Okay, and of course later in 1957, Tun Donald Stephen or Tun Muhammad Fuad Stephen was invited to be involved in this society and appointed as a vice chairman to the society. And the AGM of the society in 1958, he was elected as the chairman, and Richard Yap is still the secretary. All right. And so that's the history where under the society, the first president, Mr. Lee Kim Chong, was the recognition of the Sino-Kadazan as the native and Kadazan as their race. That is the achievement of the first chairman of Society of Kadazan. And to reinforce that recognition, all Sino-Kadazan needed native certificate issued by the native courts in their respective district and sub-district of North Borneo, which is now Sabah. And so, this is the history. So, number 4, Ketua Anak Negeri. Number 4 is Fidelis Tan Peng Heng, who is also one of the committee member of the Society of Kadazan. This is amazing. He was appointed by the colonial government as the first native chief. All right, vested with power to administer the issuance of the native certificate, or we call it now Sijil Anak Negeri, for those who are qualified. So that's the story, number 4. The number 4 story, all right? Tan Peng Heng is Fidelis Tan Peng Heng. He was the first native chief appointed in Penampang to empower to give the native chief certificate or Sijil Anak Negeri. And even the Sino-Kadazan was given this certificate. Like me, my mother is a Tanga Kadazan. My father is considered Sino under the Wonglung, Wonglung way. Datuk Seri Panglima Masalaiking is my mamai, my uncle. We came from the Wonglung generation. All right. And so this is what I can say. And this Penampang District annual sport meets actually is a sport event that is so popular in that time that you can see it involved even the Kadazan leaders. All right. And just to highlight to you about the history, at the same decade, the Kadazan elders, these Kadazan elders, right, proposed that the Kadazan Harvest Festival, at that time, it was called Magavao, okay, to be made a public holiday by the British government. It was the Society of Kadazan who proposed that with the endorsement of all the Ketua Anak Negeri or the native chief, and requested the British government, the North Borneo British government to be recognized. And the Magavao, even though it was originally celebrated by mostly Kadazan families, and then a public holiday motion was passed, all right, a public holiday in 1956 during the Native and District Chief Conference by OKK Sadomon Gunsana in Bingko when they meet up. Because there are many Kadazan around, even in Kiningau, there are many leaders, and they open Kadazan society branches all around Sabah actually. So they have branches in Papar, in Kiningau, so most of the Kadazan leaders, that spread out. So it was proposed, and then in Bingko, Kiningau, in 1956, and was formally approved by the colonial government of North Borneo in 1958. And so when OKK Sodomon and Dono Stephen presented that proposal, all right, so they are the one who presented that in 1958, and while waiting for the Tadau Kaamatan to be gazetted as a public holiday. So the first so-called unofficial Kadazan Harvest Festival celebration were being held in conjunction with Tamu Besar, all right, and finally in 1960 it was approved as a public holiday, Tadau Kaamatan, all right, Harvest Festival. And the first ever Harvest Festival that was held was in the 30th of June until 1st of July at St.Michael School, Penampang. Hallelujah. My school. I was a student there. And then the first Miss Kadazan, or we call it today Harvest Festival, Unduk Ngadao, the first Miss Kadazan was a Chinese Sino. Kadazan Sino is Miss Yong Milan from Dongongan, Penampang. So, my Tobinay, this is what I can tell about this picture. So, you know why it is called, somebody wrote, Penampang District Annual Sports? Because the RC Mission, the Roman Catholic Mission, is the one who make the effort to educate for almost 50 years the Kadazan surrounding. That includes my old mamai, Lota Manjaji, which is the father of the Tujo Manjaji. They are the Kadazan educated people. And Father Antonison, if I'm not mistaken, is a sportman. He loves sport. He loves to run, high jump, and so forth. So that's why we have the Padang, or we call it St.Michael football field. For 5 years when I was a student there, I used to play football there. Many sport event was conducted there. All the students of St. Michael. I'm proud to be a student of St. Michael in 1977. As a matter of fact, in 1960s, when I was 5 years old, I studied as a kindergarten. 5 years old. My brother used to send us, and when we reached the hill to the church of St. Michael, there is a staircase that is very steep, and we have to walk on the staircase. It's not even a staircase, by the way. We have to go up there, and that building, we call it Parish Hall Penampang, next to the St. Michael Church. There was no parish there. That time it was an old building where the sisters of St. Michael's, we call them sisters, are teaching children, kindergarten. That is where I went to that school. And we sit in the class, and they taught all these sisters of the RC, Roman Catholic, are teaching us about moral, about languages and so on. I still remember. But one vivid the remembrance that I remember is that whenever there's recess time, they give us free coffee and biscuits. That is the time that make me, passionate to go to that kindergarten school of 5 years old. We enjoy free food, biscuits and coffee. Wow. So in the recess time, we just sit down there and they serve all the sisters serve us. But then again, after I finished my primary school in St. Aloysius, Limbanat, then in 1977, I went back to St. Michael School. Wow, what a history, So that's all, a little bit about my part of the story as a historian. If I'm not mistaken, number 2, Ketua Negeri Fred Sinidal became a politician, which I believe the team of Donald Stephen in the government and so on. And the rest I'm not so familiar with. Number 5, Sikopit Siganul. If I'm not mistaken, Ketua Anak Negeri Sikopit Siganul should be the father of one of the teacher Siganul, if I'm not mistaken. I remember there's one English teacher. At that time, our principal was an Indian man, the principal Joshua, 1977 to 1981. And there's one teacher, I think it's Siganul, is a woman, is a lady, who teach English to us. Oh, very, very harsh, giving us a lot of homeworks and writing ups, pages and pages. It clinged to my mind that I think this is the one. The father is Sikopit, Ketua Anak Negeri Sikopit Siganul. All right. And Oti Jominal Magunting, number 1. Oti Binion. I think number 6, Orang Tua Binion, is the father of YB Darius Binion, or Datuk Darius Binion. Remember him? He's a famous, well-known politician as well, Datuk Darius Binion. Okay? And the rest I could not recall. Well, thank you so much anyway, Gundohing, for sending these beautiful photos. Just to share with you that I'm part of these historical photos. I can still remember me running around and playing football in this St. Michael Padang from 1977 to 1981. I'm a proud St. Michael School student. Thank you so much, and greetings to you from Bishop JOH SEER Loudin from Thailand.